Hello, welcome to the board of the Bantu. And this is the third time I'm doing this reading. I'm about to get bored and it's about to lose its authenticity at this point. So I am going to try to fight along with the government of Botswana and its internet. And I'm going to time myself so that I can check much later to see if it is working, because really it's beginning to lose its authenticity. So I'm not going to start from the very beginning. My apologies. I am just going to talk about what we got, because at the end of the day, if I read it again and again, I will be telling lies or adding in stuff. So I will just talk about Michael Oher and Sean and Leigh and Tuohy and his wife Tiffany. We first felt Tiffany. Okay, the story. The story first. The story is that Michael, he sued of The Blind Side. For those of you who watched the movie The Blind Side and you cried buckets and buckets, you could only have been a white female if you cried buckets and buckets over that story. Some of us did not cry buckets and buckets. If you do not know the story, watch the movie. We just don't have tears for that. We just don't. I mean, what was there to cry about? But anyway, I know that my white female friends must have cried buckets and buckets, because that's about what they do. And so The Blind Side was a tearjerker for them, but for some of us, it was just a movie. It was a very popular movie. The story of a young black disenfranchised male whose mother was a drug addict and who had just been pushed out by the system. He met a white woman who saved him from a life of great drudgery, great poverty, and great pain. He was lucky, and he worked hard. He worked extremely hard. He had to take school more seriously, and he took his football very seriously. And those of us who've lived in the States and live in the States do know that you have to pay for football, extra football classes or whatever it is that they do over there. Because over here in Southern Africa, where I am right now in the Republic of Botswana, there is no such thing as paying for extracurricular activities. I don't know about Botswana exactly, but I do know that most schools in Southern Africa, they offer extracurricular activities, and your child even has to do them in order to graduate. However, this is the story of a young boy whose life could have been really messed up, but he met an angel when he was 16, regardless of skin color. And that angel, she brought him a different life, a new life, where he is now a millionaire. According to the lies of the internet, he's worth 20 million, but when we were reading it, we saw that he was worth a little bit less, right, than that. But he came from nothing, from nowhere, to this millionaire. And this was because of the help of a businessman and his wife. And his wife took a liking to him. And in the end, they adopted him and he became a member of the family. And then, he just became more and more famous after that. Well, Michael is now a grown-ass man and he's now denying the story. And not only is he denying the story, he is claiming that he was never adopted. Not claiming, he has the documents to prove it, that he was never adopted by this family, and that this family made money out of him. And he never got a cent of the profits. And so my ancestors, they ran to that story because they're about injustice. They're about how humans use each other. And they totally said, yeah, this boy was used. Oh, yes, this boy was completely and totally used. I mean, he could have been richer, he could have made more money, he could have been, but they became richer and they made more money and they just did a whole lot of fuckery, right? And so we called them to the board of the Bantu. So I've been reading this for 1 whole hour, people, and there was no sound. And then I had to wait twice for because I'm using Zoom, because Zoom is so much easier to upload, and you will see that I am not even editing this stuff, or I'm trying not to. I still have to put my disclaimer. So we called, we immediately saw that Michael had a wife and she was black. Her energy of blackness was very, very, very strong. And she is the one who put an end to this fast. Michael was okay with being under the conservatorship of Sean Tuohy, because Sean Tuohy is the businessman who, by the way, we just couldn't quite, we got his energy very, very well, but he okay. Um I am suspicious about this, but I'm gonna finish the 15 minutes and then I'm gonna check it after. So we got his energy, we got Sean's energy, but it was a weird energy. He's either dying or dead or about to die. He was coming in as Sean, that he was coming in as a representative of Sean, like another energy was representing him. It could have been his lawyer. We struggled with that. And Sean said some really profound things that I'm just going to try and remember, because that just happened a few minutes ago. He said that he did not. He said the world is full of assets and human beings are assets. That he learned that lesson very well, and so should the world know, because slavery still exists. It has just been easily camouflaged. He said he saw a boy who had a talent and he nurtured that talent and he paid for it. So him, his wife, and his kids were like, that was their money. And he said he gave him opportunities he would never have got. He gave him attention, he gave him love. Yes, he controlled his money, but for a very good reason, because he grew his money. He grew Michael's money because Michael has mental health intelligence issues. It has to do with his intelligence. My ancestors agreed that Michael was dumb as a doorbell. They agreed that he was dumb as a doorbell. He had intellectual challenges. They agreed. His wife agreed, Tiffany. She said, yes, he does have intellectual challenges. She knew it when she met him. She knew it when she had babies with him. She knew it when she married him. But he is a kind and loving and gracious individual. And Leanne, I believe it's Leanne, agreed. The mother agreed. She said, yes, that's why she loved him so much, because of his kind nature. That such a big guy could be so kind was amazing to her. But her husband was all about business. He allowed his wife to fall for the boy. He allowed his wife to nurture the boy. He allowed his wife to have her little project while he was looking for how he could exploit the situation and make money out of it, because he himself was a former football player. It also helped Michael's cause that Sean's son was not a football player. In fact, the father saw him as a pansy, and he described his own son as a pansy, so he could live vicariously through Michael. But then, of course, he used to be a professional football player. He had learned that these football players, including himself at the time, and basketball players were all slaves to the owners. That if they were given their real and true value, they'd all be trillionaires. He was actually very bitter about that. He said we should all be billionaires if we are given our true value, but we are not given our true value. We're only given pittance. We are given conditions that are slavery. We're given, exercising, blah, 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 eating, da, da, da. Pittance money, and pittance money, and then they get the trillions of dollars. So he had one kid to do that with, but other men had lots and lots and lots of kids. Then he kept reminding me of the song, do you remember the days of slavery? I swear to God, it just kept playing in my head while he was talking. And then he replies to that, and he said, hey, everybody is a slave. Like he said before, slavery has just been camouflaged. It has just been camouflaged. Nothing else but camouflage. And then he proceeded to talk about how he invested Michael's money and how Michael, it's a privilege. Oh, yes, this was very interesting. He said it's a privilege for a black football or basketball star to be married to a black woman. It's a privilege. It's a privilege that he has earned by taking care of his money and growing his money. And him, Sean, he has grown Michael's money. He has grown it. Michael does, and the way he has tied it up, Michael doesn't ever need to work because, he is good. His grandbabies are good because he has tied up Michael's money in contracts and so on that nobody can fuck him up. He accused Tiffany of wanting to fuck up her husband because she has left him several times, and two of the kids that she has with him are not Michael's. And so she wants to take everything he has because he's as dumb as a doorbell and run for the hills, right? Then he said, do you know, I saved him from the likes of Khloe Kardashian, his words. I saved him from the likes of Khloe Kardashian and what she, and women like that. Black men invariably end up marrying black men in football and basketball invariably end up marrying unsavory white women, sorry, because they need to survive. They need help with their finances and they need help to navigate the financial world. But he has been navigating this financial world for Michael Oher, and Michael didn't need any of that. So Michael could end up with this black woman. So as far as he's concerned, the black woman is trying to overturn the conservatorship so that she can have Michael's money because they have Michael on a budget, and basically, in case there is a divorce or a separation between the two people, it is the Tuohys who make the decision of how much the woman gets. They make the decision. Michael's worth is not at play here because there is conservatorship, blah, blah, blah. So he says she wants his money and she wants to run away with it, and the wife did not disagree. She said, yeah, she wants control of the money. She wants the control of the money to come into the household. She knows what her husband is, but they are controlling them and giving them like allowances, while they are living a plushier life. And then through her investigations, she actually discovered that the two of her kids have way more money than Michael does, and a lot of that money comes from Michael's money. So of course he's playing favorites. Then we talked to Leigh. You missed the really fun part, guys, and I'm so sorry. There was no sound and the recording is terrible. You missed this really fun part when Tiffany, Michael's wife, and Leigh had a go at each other and they screamed. There is genuine love for Michael from that woman. He validates her motherhood. He validates her mothering. He validates her mothering skills. He also gave her a career. She became a writer, which we believe we saw she always was. She just never had anything that interested anyone. So her husband was saying that Michael had no right to her money when it came to the book and when it came to the movie because she is the creator. And you know what? We had to agree. It's her work, so she gets her money. For Michael to get any money at all, he had to have struck a deal and he had to have had a contract with his wife. And Michael didn't have a contract with his wife. And therefore, he didn't deserve any of the proceeds from the movie and from the book. Legally, he was correct. Legally, he is correct. Right. But then we also saw that there was because the football deals that Michael made with his teams and the endorsements and so on, except for his fee, because Sean has a fee and her fee, that's how he was stealing some of Michael's money, fees, coming up with well, you need to pay your sister this, you need to pay your brother this, you need to pay, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, he was taking. And there is a really close relationship between Michael and the two kids. And though Tiffany has been trying to break it, he's closer to those two than he is to his actual bios because, well, he feels highly grateful. His relationship with Sean died a long time ago, but Sean still sees him as someone he's responsible for. Sean still had not let go of that responsibility. And this woman, Leanne, she just wants to mother her three kids. She claims Michael is one of her kids, and she is very serious about that business. Okay, I'm gonna turn this off and see if there is any sound. If there is sound, then we're gonna carry on.